Welcome, all. Welcome to the another session of our Systems and Control Lab. And in this session, we will explain how to conduct the experiment for finding out the transfer function, transfer function, uh, transfer function of a DC servo motor. Actual DC servo motor means DC motors which is having high starting torque and low value of moment of inertia. That means it is used or applicable. Its application is limited for small applications, and it is having the small size also. So that its moment of inertia is very low, and it is used for the applications where initial starting torque required is high, and speed smooth and ease very smooth and ease speed control. So speed control means vary the speed which is required by the designer, okay, from 0 to the rated speed, and also greater than this rated speed. So this is the application of DC servo motors. So in our lab we have the DC shunt motor, that is we are using DC shunt motor as DC servo motor. So the transfer function of a DC servo motor in our lab experiment will be transfer function of DC shunt motor. So before going into the experiment, we have the DC shunt motor like this. The schematic diagram of a DC shunt motor is like this. So this is F dash A dash, and we have the formulas also, and this is nothing but our this is RA, armature resistance, and EB, back EMF. Our terminal voltage is VT, or we will represent as V, and the armature current IA, back EMF EB, and RA is the armature resistance. LA is the armature, the inductance of the armature winding. Then LF is the inductance of the field winding. Then RF is the resistance of this field winding. So these are and this is being rotated with a speed n RPM. So in that case, we have the formula for back EMF. EB is equal to N pi ZP by 60A, where Z is the total number of conductors, P is the number of poles, total number of poles, N is the speed in RPM, phi is the flux per pole, which is measured in Weber, then A is the number of parallel paths. So EB is equal to N phi Z P by 60A, and EB is equal to a constant K into N phi. So that means where this K is equal to Z P by 60A. Okay, so and this EB, we have EB is equal to also V, if you apply the KVL, V minus IA into RA. Okay, so if you equate these, that is this 1 and 2, so you will get it the equation for the speed, that is K N phi will be equal to V minus IA RA, and this equation you will get EB equal to V minus IA RA, where V is terminal voltage, I is armature current, RA is armature resistance, and EB, therefore EB will be equal to K phi N, and that where from that we will get N is equal to V minus IA RA divided by K phi. So N will be equal to V minus IA RA divided by K into phi. Okay, so from this equation number 3, or from this model of this model, we have two ways of varying this or controlling this speed N. So the first way is you decrease or increase phi. Phi means it is nothing but the flux per pole, which is proportional to the field current IF, so that you will get the speed above the rated speed and also below the rated speed. And another method is you make this IA equal to constant, armature current constant, and vary this V. Okay, V is varied. So V, if you vary V, then this numerator term will be varied, so that keeping this phi constant. Okay, so keeping this phi constant, then so that you will get N varied, you can vary the N. Okay, so these are the two methods. So the above explained methods are known as, first one, the varying V is known as the armature controlled DC servo motor, and secondly, keeping this V minus IARA, that is EB constant, if you vary phi means if you vary the field current or the field voltage, if you vary, then that is known as the field controlled DC servo motor. Okay, so from that, yes, in armature control method, speed is varied by changing the armature voltage, keeping the field flux constant, and yes, in that, so we have to, first of all, we have to derive the transfer function, that is the Laplace transform of the output Laplace transform of the output to the Laplace transform of input. That is, the ratio is known as the transfer function, where all the initial conditions are set to 0. So in that case, we have the output, we have taken it as angular displacement theta, and the input in armature controlled mode, we are taking it as V. Okay, applied armature voltage. So, and we have the other parameters, the EB, that is back EMF, then Tm, the motor torque, J is the moment of inertia of the armature controlled motor, and B naught, or you can say in our experiment, we will B naught, we will equate it as F. We will notate it as F. That is nothing but the coefficient of viscous friction coefficient. So yes, we have this equation, omega equal to d theta by dt, and omega equal to 2 pi n by 60, omega equal to 2 pi n, okay, 2 pi n by 60, and J is the equivalent moment of inertia of the rotor of the motor, and that of the load referred to the motor shaft. And alpha is defined as d square theta by dt square, which is the angular acceleration, like our A. And also we have the motor torque equation. We have K1 phi Ia. K1 phi Ia. So we have for DC shunt motor, we have this equation K into phi Ia. Okay, so this is K into phi Ia. You have already studied that, so no need to explain that. And phi is actually it is proportional to the field current IF. So K1 into KF into IF into IA. Okay, and Tm is KTIA. That means K1 into KF and into IF, where in the armature controlled mode operation of DC servo motor, we are keeping this phi as constant. So K1 KF IF, we are taking it as KT. Okay, so Tm is equal to this another constant, that is KT into IA. Okay, so this, and we are substituting for EB, that is K phi n, and we are writing it in terms of omega. We are replacing this capital N in terms of omega, and in yes, and finally we will get EB equal to KB into d theta by dt. Okay, a useful equation for modeling our DC servo motor, that is armature controlled DC servo motor. And also we have the inertia torque, that's equal to moment of inertia J into angular acceleration d square theta by dt square, that is J alpha. Like our F is equal to ma, we have inertia torque Ti is equal to J alpha, that is J into d square theta by dt square. And also another torque that's been developed in the DC servo motor is torque due to bearing friction and windage friction. Okay, and any other drag opposition to the rotation. And it's been accounted as the frictional coefficient, viscous frictional coefficient, that is as our shaft rotates, it will result in continuous continuous contact between the air and the shaft. So in that case, windage frictional losses will be there. Then torque bearing, some friction will be there in the bearings. So all that you need to meet. So that torque together is known as the frictional torque, and it is equal to B0 into omega. B0 omega. So like that, the torque developed by the motor that is being used for meeting this inertia, to overcome this inertia torque and also this frictional torque. So the Tm will be equal to Ti plus Tf. So we will get the Tm, that is motor torque developed, that is equal to Ktia. We will get an equation in second order, that is in differential equation in second order, and we will convert that. We will take the Laplace transform and we will get the block diagram representation of, yes, the final block diagram representation of this armature controlled DC servo motor like this. So this is our theory, and moving on to our experiment. Yes, this is our armature controlled DC servo motor. Yes, block diagram. So here, by conducting experiment, our aim is to find out the constant values Kt, then Ra, that is armature resistance, then La, that is inductance of the armature windings, then J, that is moment of inertia, then F. F is nothing but your B0 in the earlier discussion, that is coefficient of viscous friction, frictional coefficient of viscous force. Okay, so that you can write this theta of S by VA of S, that is nothing but the transfer function of armature controlled motor, where theta of S is our output and VA of S is our armature voltage, that is taken as the input. So you can substitute for all these Kt, Ra, La and Jf, Kt, Kb. So this is our aim of this experiment. Okay, so similarly we have the transfer function. Yes, transfer function of field controlled motor, DC servo motor, like this, that is theta of S divided by Vf of S is equal to Ktf divided by S into Rf plus SLF into Js plus F. So F is same as that in the armature controlled DC servo motor. So these are the two separate aims. So for that we are conducting some experiments on the given DC shunt motor. So this is our aim. Yes. Now, yes, in order to find out all these different parameters, we are conducting the no load test for the DC shunt motor. Okay, then yes, no load test, that means we are at any point of this experiment we are not at all loading the DC shunt motor. We are conducting only the no load test for constant field current operation. Okay, that is constant field current operation means the flux phi field flux is constant. So in that case, that means armature controlled DC motor. So for that, and in the next no load test, we are keeping the armature current constant, and we are varying the field current. So that is what I mean by the field controlled operation of DC servo motor. So these are the two experiments available for us, and the circuit diagram looks like this. That is, we should have a 200 volt DC supply, okay, DC supply, and in our lab it is readily available 200 volt DC supply. But usually in systems and control laboratory, actually we are doing this experiment in machines lab, but usually in systems and control laboratory we will have a thyristor rectifier. Okay, that means we will have I will explain that. Yes, in order to produce a 200 volt DC supply, we will have a thyristor bridge rectifier, a three phase. Okay, three phase thyristor bridge, yes, rectifier, and we are giving the three available three phase AC supply to this bridge, and we are going to get a yes, 200 volt, a 200 volt. We are converting this three phase AC supply to DC supply, that is 200 volt DC supply. So, and that 200 volt DC supply we are giving to this DC servo motor. Okay, so but in our machines lab it is readily available 200 volt DC supply. So just we will make the connections as per this circuit diagram using this 200 volt DC supply. Okay, and yes, so the connections are made as per the circuit diagram, and then for no load test you have to keep in mind these initial conditions of the experiment, the initial conditions of the experiment. So initial conditions means yes, the field rheostat. First of all, in no load condition, no load test, we are always keeping this armature rheostat. Okay, this 100 ohm 50 ampere rheostat, the resistance is known as the armature external rheostat, connected in series with the armature of the DC servo motor. So this is kept at maximum position. Okay, and this field rheostat, which is connected in series with the field winding of the DC servo motor, is kept minimum. Okay, so that why that initial condition is required, that all such things you know. And also yes, auto transformer is kept at minimum position. That means actually auto transformer kept in minimum position, that is applicable for the thyristor bridge that circuit. Okay, so the why? Because for the thyristor bridge we are giving the three phase supply through a three phase auto transformer. So that is why it is kept at minimum position. It is written in our lab manual. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram, and first we will conduct the no load test by keeping this field current, armature field current, constant. that is our procedure for armature controlled mode is connections are made as shown in the circuit diagram. Then we will adjust the field rheostat, which is kept at a minimum position, and make the field current we will set the field current near to its rated value. So the rated value of the field current will be given in the nameplate of the DC shunt motor. So you have to note down that, and you have to vary the field rheostat and keep the field current near to its rated value. Okay, and then by keeping the field current constant, okay, in the armature controlled mode, we will vary the armature voltage, that is VA, armature voltage up to the rated value by varying the armature rheostat. And for different values of armature voltage, we will note down the armature current and speed. Okay, and we will measure the speed by using a tachometer. Okay, and the readings will be, we will tabulate it, and yes, the readings are tabulated in this tabular column. That is no load test, constant field current operation. That is, field current is being kept constant, that is near to its rated value, and then we will note down, we will vary the armature rheostat. Okay, we will vary the armature rheostat, and we will find out, we will measure we will find out the readings of this voltmeter, which is this VA, which is this VA column, or which corresponds to this VA value, and the armature current IA we will note down by taking the reading of this ammeter. Okay, and we will we will measure the speed in RPM by using a tachometer, and then in the next column we have the back EMF EB, and that's been calculated using this equation. Yes, EB equal to VA minus IARA. Okay, EB equal to VA minus IARA. So that means we have this VA we have from voltmeter reading, IA we have from ammeter reading, and RA we will measure this RA by using, that is armature resistance, we will measure by a suitable experiment that will be discussed. Okay, VI method, we will measure it, and we will, after doing that experiment and finding out the armature resistance, we will complete this tabular column EB back EMF, and then we will calculate this power. Okay, power, that is EB into IA is power, EB into IA. So you multiply the values of this EB column with corresponding values of the IA column. Okay, and you fill the P column. Then you will get omega from N. Okay, that is 2 pi N by 60 is omega. Okay, so omega equal to 2 pi N by 60, and you can fill this column also. Then omega square, so take the square of that, and you have to, so after filling all these columns, you have to draw the graph. Okay, you have to draw the graph, yes, like this, P versus omega square. Okay, that graph, and you will get a straight line, a linear relation between P and omega square, then EB and omega, then yes, EB and omega. So these two graphs you have to draw, and the slope of this P and P versus omega square graph, the slope of this graph will give, yes, the slope of this graph will give the coefficient of viscous friction. Okay, coefficient of, that is, yes, armature for armature control DC motor, we will get the, yes, this coefficient of viscous friction coefficient F is calculated from this P versus omega square plot. That is, F is equal to, yes, slope delta P by delta omega square. So that you will get from that graph. Then in the next graph, expected graph, okay, yes, that is EB versus omega graph. From EB versus omega graph, you will get the value of, yes, the value of the motor constant, value of the motor constant. That is, yes, why? Because we have this equation EB is equal to N phi set P by 68, right? So from this, we have written as EB is equal to K B into N phi. So yes, so if phi for armature controlled DC servo motor, this phi is a constant, so we are taking to this constant value to with this constant Kb, so that you will get another constant, and this will be Eb will be proportional to n, and n, if you write in terms of angular velocity omega, then you will get Eb proportional to omega. So this is a linear relationship. So and Eb will be equal to K motor constant Km into omega. So from this, Eb by omega is Km, that is slope of this Eb versus omega, you will get the motor constant Km value. Okay, so yes, from that you will get the value of this Kb. Okay, this Kb, and this Kb is actually equal to Kt. So the theoretical proof is there. Actually, it will be there, set P by 2 pi a Kb and K. So I mean, yes, this motor constant, actually if you derive, you will get Kb equal to Kt equal to set P by 2 pi a. So where a is the number of parallel paths and P is the number of poles, Z is total number of conductors. So that if you derive, you will get it. So Kb is actually equal to Kt. So you will get Kb and Kt values from the which graph? Yes, from this Eb versus omega graph. So slope of this graph, so that you can find out. So yes, for armature controlled DC servo motor, we got the value of Kb, Kt, then yes, this Kt also we got, then F we got, okay, F we got, then J we don't have J, we didn't get J till now, okay, then LA and RA, in order to find out these two parameters, we will have another experiment, we will conduct another experiment. So in order to find out the armature resistance, we will have this circuit, okay, 24 volt, that is comparatively low voltage DC supply we will use, and yes, V by I method. From V by I method, we will get the armature resistance, and mean of that value we will use it. Okay, then LA, for LA, calculating LA, we need to calculate the ZA, that is impedance of the armature winding. Okay, from that we will get the LA value also. okay, by using this equation. Yes, LA equal to 1 by 2 pi f into under root ZA square minus RA square. By using this equation, you will get the LA value also. So yes, so for this transfer function, we got KT value, this KT, KB, then F value. Then after conducting the experiments, we got RA and LA. Then we have to find out J value. That is, J is nothing but the moment of inertia, the moment of inertia of the shaft of the motor. So it can be, so this is found by conducting another suitable experiment that is known as the retardation test. Okay, so for conducting this retardation test, connections are made as per the circuit diagram of this no load test. Okay, of this no load test, we will make the connections as per this circuit diagram, and then yes, the initial conditions are same, that is rheostat, the armature rheostat is kept at the maximum position and field rheostat is kept at minimum position. Then what we will do is keeping the we will adjust the field rheostat. We will adjust the field rheostat and run the motor. We will run, if you adjust the field rheostat, then the field current, so that the field current will be decreased, so that the motor speed will increase slightly above. You have to make the motor speed slightly above the rated speed. So the rated speed, if you look into the nameplate of the motor, you will get it. Okay, so then after that, you disconnect the supply. Okay, you disconnect this supply by using a suitable switch. You disconnect this supply. That means the armature, the supply given to the armature, you have to disconnect it, keeping the field winding excited. So this is very important. You have to switch off only the armature circuit. Okay, so that what happens is the motor will experience a dynamic braking or rheostatic braking. So the shaft of the motor, slowly it will retard and comes to standstill at one point of time. So what you have to do is so that means if you apply the law of conservation of energy, then you will find that the kinetic energy of the rotor, which is lost during the deceleration process, okay, and that is used to meet the iron and mechanical losses of the motor. So that will be the point you have to remember. So by equating all this, the kinetic energy to the losses, then you will find that if you plot the speed versus the time characteristic, okay, if you by conducting the retardation test, if you plot the speed versus time characteristic, then slope of that will be the j value of the DC servo motor. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to take a stopwatch, or you can use your mobile phone, and you have to simultaneously measure the speed, which can be measured using a tachometer, and the time corresponding to the speed. So in that way you have to take readings, so that you can fill this tabular column for the retardation test. That is, yes, this retardation test, that is serial number 1 2 3 how to write. And then T, you have to you have to take 0, then 30, then 60 in the, yes, in the time interval of 30 seconds. You have to measure the speed, okay, using the tachometer, so that you can fill these two columns. And if you find out, if you have the value of n in rpm, then you can convert it into omega, radian per second, by the equation omega equal to 2 pi n by 60. So you will get omega value, then t value you will get, and you have to plot this graph, that is omega versus t graph. And the slope of that graph is corresponding to the value of moment of inertia J of the DC servo motor, of the given DC shunt motor. Okay, so you have the value of J also. So in this way you have to complete all the experiments, so that you will get the value of KT, then KB, then F, then J, then RA and LA also, so that the transfer function of the armature controlled DC servo motor is given by this theta of S divided by V of S equal to, you have to substitute for all these unknown parameters. So that's the transfer function, okay, for armature controlled DC servo motor. And then now if you move on to the field control mode, for field control mode we have the transfer function like this, Vf of S, okay, theta of S divided by Vf of S, that is output by input. Input is where Vf is the voltage applied to the field winding, so that is varying, okay, the voltage applied to the field winding is varied, so that the field current is in with respect to that it is got varied. So then, yes, in that condition you have to your transfer function is KTF is this equation, okay. So our second aim of the experiment is to substitute or find out all the parameters, unknown parameter values of KTF, J, F, RF and LF. Actually we have we have find out the value of this J, okay, the moment of inertia of the rotor of the given DC servo motor. So that is not going to change, okay, because the same system, the system is not changed. For the same machine, for the same DC shunt motor, we are conducting the armature controlled mode of operation and field controlled mode of operation. So J is not going to vary, is not going to change. So J we got, then F also that is not going to change. Okay, then RF and LF you have to determine RF and LF. Okay, so RF and LF, if you determine, you have to conduct the experiment, that is, yes, this determination of field resistance and inductance. So you have to set up this circuit, okay, in order to find out the RF field resistance, then field inductance, you have to set up this circuit, okay. So and the rest of the equations are already explained to you. So okay, yes, so these are the Okay, so we got the value of RF and LF. Then another term is another parameter you have to find out is KTF, the value of KTF, that is, which is different from KT in the armature control mode. Okay, so KTF you have to find out. So KTF is nothing but it is again the constant which is given by which is given by, if you derive the equation of torque. So the 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 electrical equivalent, the electromechanical torque developed Te is equal to T is given by Ka into phi into Ia. Okay, now we have Te. Yes, in order to find out the the value of the constant parameter KTF, you have to first of all you have to fill this tabular column. Okay, the tabular column shown. So that means for constant armature current operation. So in the same way, you have to set up this circuit diagram. Okay, you have to set up this circuit diagram, and you have to keep all the initial conditions as this field current, the armature rheostat at maximum position, and the field rheostat at minimum position. You have to make it, and you have to switch on the power supply, and then what you have to do is you have to make this armature current constant. Okay, you have to make the armature current, that means the connections are made similar to the armature control mode. Then adjust auto transformer. Okay, that means you have to set up the rated terminal voltage, that is 200 volt DC. Then you have to adjust the field rheostat and make the field current near to its rated value again, and then adjust the armature rheostat and apply rated voltage to the armature circuit. Okay, and in the next step you have to keep the armature voltage constant, and you have to reduce the field current in steps up to 60% of its rated value, and the corresponding speed is measured. That means you have to fill this tabular column. That is, you have to first of all you have to you have to set the field current near to the or equal to the rated value. Okay, rated value, and the armature current to the rated value, then armature voltage to the rated voltage, terminal voltage. Then you have to measure the speed. Then EB you have to calculate by the equation EB equal to VA minus IARA. Then power EB into IA. Then omega 2 pi n by 60. Then torque you will get it as P by omega. P by omega. That means we have power, we have the equation of power, P is equal to omega into T, and T will be equal to P by omega. So just divide this P value by this omega value, so then you will get torque in Newton meter. Okay, so you have to complete this table by like this, and after the first reading you have to reduce this field current. Okay, you have to reduce or you have to decrease the field current by varying the field rheostat. Okay, so if you kept first of all you will be keeping the field rheostat in minimum position, then you have to increase the value of the field rheostat. Okay, so that the field current will be decreased. So like that, you have to take the readings up to the 60% of the rated field current. You have to take it, so that you will get the values, all the values of torque, okay, corresponding to the different field current values, and then you have to uh, draw a graph between T by taking torque on y-axis and field current on x-axis. And the graph will be, again, it will be a straight line, a linear relationship. Okay, linear relationship will be there, and that okay, so I will draw the graph here. Yes, so IF in ampere, x-axis, then torque in Newton meter in y-axis. So this will be the graph, linear relationship, and you have to take the slope of this, then you will get, yes, you will get the value of KTF. So KTF will be equal to, this is A, B, C, then AB divided by EC will be the parameter KTF. Okay, so yes, so the same thing you can derive from here also. So T is equal to Kf phi into Ia, and this phi can be written as phi is proportional to some K1, another constant, into IF. So TE will be equal to K into K1 into IF into IA. And we are making this IA, in the case of field controlled mode of operation, we are making this armature current constant. So this is again K into K1 into IA. I'm taking it another constant, that is our KTF into IF. So TE divided by IF will be equal to KTF. That means if you draw the graph, then you will get delta T divided by delta IF will be our KTF. That means AB divided by AC. So like this, we will get the value of this KTF in the transfer function of field controlled motor, DC servo motor. Okay, so that so that you can substitute for all these unknown parameters, so that you will get the transfer function. Okay, so our two aims will be successfully completed, and yes, and you have to write the result as 1 and 2. That is, number 1 result is transfer function of the DC motor in the armature control mode operation is, you have to rewrite that transfer function by substituting all the unknown parameters, substituting for all the unknown parameters. Then again, for transfer function of the same DC shunt motor in the field control mode of operation, yes, you have to substitute for the parameters, unknown parameters, which we have find out from successfully conducting some suitable experiments. Okay, so this is our experiment, which is titled as transfer function of DC servo motor of a DC servo motor or of DC shunt motor. So thank you.